Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. About 9/100ths of an inch of rain's all we got over the weekend, but if that's what you're getting, I guess we'll just have to take it. In other notes, the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus affecting dairy herds around the country may have landed in California's Central Valley, as the California Department of Food and Agriculture is investigating a possible outbreak at 3 dairy farms. California officials have confirmed the state is investigating possible cases of highly pathogenic avian influenza in 3 Central Valley dairies, with lab results pending. California is the country's largest milk-producing state, with roughly 20% of the country's milking cows. CDFA late Thursday announced the testing of samples from 3 dairies at the state's laboratory. Any positive test at the California lab would be considered presumptive and submitted to USDA for test confirmation. California is the country's largest milk-producing state, with more than 1.7 million milking cows and more than 1,300 dairies. According to USDA, the state again produces about 20% of the U.S. milk supply. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
A fantastic week opening up ahead of us here across Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your Ohio Ag Weather Update. Moving through the state, here we're looking at high pressure dominating this morning, parking over the Great Lakes and giving us a nice crisp, cool morning. It's going to be a pleasant day through the day today, and we keep this cool, dry scenario, low humidity through tomorrow, and I think into Wednesday as well. Finally, Wednesday midday, this low, or rather high, shifts farther to the east, and we get some south wind up the backside. That's going to allow temperatures to moderate a little bit, and we are warmer then to finish the week. We do see humidity values creeping up Thursday afternoon into Friday. That's going to leave a little bit of chance for instability. There's a minor front. It's minor in terms of precipitation. It will create a dramatic wind shift for this upcoming weekend and cooler air to come back. But if you're looking at moisture, I think your Friday midday, afternoon, and overnight is it. And I'm going to say anywhere from a quarter to just over half an inch. Coverage will end up being about 75% of Ohio. So it's not a big threat of rain, but it is some moisture at least to watch for. Behind that front, we are dry and cool over the weekend. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at some 5,000-foot temperatures near zero in some parts of the northern Great Lakes, 0 centigrade, so the freezing mark. Over parts of northern Michigan, Lake Superior, I don't think that 5,000-foot temperature band gets down our way, but it's indicative of the kind of air mass that's in here. So crisp and cool for this coming weekend into early next week. Temperatures moderate again, but I am looking at another wide open, dry stretch of weather from the weekend through at least next Wednesday, the 11th. It may be Thursday, the 12th, Friday, the 13th, till a little bit of organized moisture can get into Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. I hope Ryan's weather forecast meets with your Labor Day plans. Joining me is Jenna Reese, Executive Director of the Ohio Forestry Association, and we've talked to Jenna several times over the last several months, but mainly about the raw materials coming in. I'm kind of fascinated about today's topic and talking about the hardwoods that we harvest in Ohio and the Holmes County, primarily the target area, but Amish country, and what they do with them. Tell us more about that opportunity to use our product right here in state.
Like you said, Dale, we focused our conversations a lot on raw materials, and so it's exciting to be able to talk about some of the hardwood products that they go toward. Ohio is #1 in the country in hardwood furniture production, and most of that production happens to occur in the Holmes County area and the surrounding counties.
When you look at hardwoods, I mean, as a kid, you kind of thought, boy, maybe someday I'll get to inherit that roll-top desk, and then later it's like, no, I'm going to have to get my own. What generation, what lifestyle looks at hardwoods now for furniture?
You can use hardwood products at any economic level. Obviously, you're going to have to prioritize what matters to you most. We see hardwood in retail, commercial, residential.
Any idea what kind of number goes specifically to furniture?
Yes, in Ohio, the industry as a whole, that's $30.4 billion of economic activity, and furniture specifically is $4.6 billion of that figure. We attribute that to the history behind Amish craftsmanship craftsmanship. People really enjoy the quality of the piece, handcrafted aspect of it. And what's remarkable is now, as technology has changed, even our Amish craftsmen have increased their technology capabilities, and now they can use robotic to make a lot of these pieces, and you have the same level of quality but greater consistency and more safety across the board.
I've been visiting with Jenna Reese, Executive Director of the Ohio Forestry Association. Jenna, anytime we want to know about trees or wood products, where do we go to find out more?
You can check out ohioforest.org for more information anytime.
And thanks, Jenna. Back with more after this.
Get ready for the 62nd Annual Farm Science Review, September 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's more than a farm show. Explore over 600 exhibitors across 2.6 million square feet, providing equipment, services, and education for farms of all types and sizes. Tickets can be purchased at participating OSU Extension offices and agribusinesses, as well as online. Visit fsr.osu.edu to buy your Farm Science Review tickets now and plan your show visit. We look forward to seeing you at the 62nd Farm Science Review, September 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Your health and safety are of the highest importance to your friends at the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. That's why creating safe work environments in agriculture has never been easier. BWC's free safety consulting services provide training and education for everyone in your work family. It's always a good time to make safety a priority. Visit bwc.ohio.gov and click on Safety Services or call 1-800-644-6292. The Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation has the safety resources you need.
Joining me is Levi Richards, and we're catching up with him at the Hancock County Fair. Lots of off-microphone conversations.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about this dry season. What should people with livestock on pasture consider, and does this at all affect the way you look at grain later on this fall for all your product?
Yeah, well, I work at Kalmbach Feeds, and there, we kind of think ahead of this for situations like this. When it gets this dry this late in the year, you might not get as many cuttings of hay. Your pasture might run a little bit short on you. Some things you can look at doing is maybe be graining them a little bit harder, whether we're talking about, brood cows or does or, sheep that are going to be out there on pasture. We might have to look at using, like a mineral tub that might give us just a little bit better forage digestibility. Got some different options and things like that. But no matter what, we've got to be able to provide those nutrients outside of what the pasture is going to provide. So if we're going to make another cutting of hay, if you're able to, it might be lower quality because it is so dry, or it might get a little more mature just quicker on us. So we've just got to kind of think ahead and be prepared for that.
Is it something you should test for to know exactly what the nutrients are there, or we just generally know it's not had normal growing conditions and we're going to need to enhance it when we can?
I don't want to encourage everybody to go crazy and test every bale of hay that they buy or that they put up. Generally, by the end of the summer, especially in this dry of a year, you're probably not going to have as high quality of hay stocked up in your barn. So we can assume that the quality is going to be a bit lower and just prepare for it that way. It wouldn't hurt, if you've got a really big stock of one cutting of hay that you're going to be able to rely on through the winter. Wouldn't hurt to maybe test it just so you know what exactly they're getting and what you need to fulfill nutrient-wise other than what the hay's providing itself.
Any recommendations for the guys looking at silage? Our silage harvest is ahead of normal, but it may be even further that if guys are getting out and checking. It may be drier than they expect.
It might be a little bit too dry. You just don't know. It's crazy how much or how quickly things have dried up. I kind of run all over the state between going to different fairs and judging some shows and selling feed and everything. And it's funny, different areas of the state have a big variety of conditions. What it looks like in southeast Ohio compared to up here, we're both dry, but boy, I think we're a lot drier, down south. So just kind of depending on where you're at, there's going to be a big variety of condition there.
Yeah, we've talked to a couple of our staff members who wonder if they'll be able to be at Farm Science because they may be running both corn and soybeans at that time.
Yeah, it seems like things are turning just a lot faster. Yeah,
I came across from the Richwood Fair when I was there last week, and as I looked at that, I was able to take a picture out the window and was amazed when you zoom in on it how dry the corn actually looked.
It is.
The other side of the road, the outside one row, looks like it was stealing moisture from the grass beside it.
Yeah.
Because right past that, it was really dry, so it'll be interesting to see what we're hearing at these upcoming events and how it's affecting not only the bottom dollar, but when you look at what's available for upcoming feed supply for the coming year.
That's right.
It's got to be a concern.
It's going to be crucial. Yeah, I would really encourage you to just kind of try to stay ahead of it. Don't let anything get behind, or otherwise, you might get behind on fertility next spring if you've got, a group of brood cows. If you're breeding any species, they've got long-term effects if you get just a little bit behind.
And if people have questions, are you available and staff available at Kalmbach?
Oh, of course.
That?
You can always look at kalmbachfeeds.com. There's a lot of different ways to contact us through both social media. There's phone numbers on the website, and even contact us through the website itself.
Levi Richards, my guest. Thanks for stopping by here at the Hancock County Fair. Normally, you see at the State Fair, but thanks for stopping by.
Yep, you bet. Thanks a lot, Dale.
Time now for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished last week on a mostly higher note, and the markets are closed in observance of the Labor Day holiday today. So let's take a look back at how we went home last Friday. Corn was up 5 to 6 cents on the day. We saw soybeans up anywhere from 7.5 to almost 9. Soybean meal was $1 to $3 higher a ton. Bean oil was slightly lower. On the wheat side of the equation, Chicago wheat 4 to 8 higher, Kansas City wheat 4 to 7 higher, and Minneapolis spring wheat up anywhere from 8 to almost 11.5 cents overall. The week last week was fraught with talk of additional demand. Are we going to see it? Are we not? Let's talk about soybeans first. We did see some flash reported sales again last week, and we saw confirmations of what was some rumored sales that happened early to midweek. So I think that we're slowly but surely starting to see demand come around. One of the big things I want to point out is over the course of this past week, we have seen crush margins in China gain dramatically, and they're in the green right now, not the red. They're in the green. They're in the black, I guess we should say. That's the financial term. And so that's probably going to spur some more growth in the demand or the buying spree that China is doing. Now, do we feel comfortable with saying China will be getting to their 20 to 22 million metric ton normalized purchase? Not yet. The frequency of flash sales last week was good. Volume grew a little bit, but it's back to trying to figure out when we do see reports come in that quantify and confirm the rumors that are out there. Weekly export sales report last week had a big new crop number on beans, which we hadn't seen for a while. But on the corn and sorghum side, we saw some sales come to the table last week as well. So I think we're starting to put together some decent demand on corn. Whether it's China or Mexico, it doesn't matter at this point. Ethanol margins are still quite green. Production stayed steady last week. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Since it's a holiday, we'll be back with Friday's closing figures after this. Hi, everyone. This is Dale Minio from the Ohio AgNet. For a quarter of a century, I powered my truck with biodiesel, traveling the state promoting agriculture. Biodiesel is a reliable, high-performance fuel that works in any diesel engine without modification. The best part is that with every mile driven, I'm fueling the economy, doing good for the environment, and supporting soybean farmers. Learn how using biodiesel can add value to every bushel of soybeans grown at soyohio.org.
Time is running out for your chance to win a free TV, and all you have to do is subscribe or renew to your free subscription of Ohio's Country Journal. Subscribe or renew before September 20th, 2024, and you will be entered for a chance to win a free TV. Subscriptions are completely free, but we must have a new request on file from subscribers every 3 years. The process is quick and easy. Visit ocj.com/renew. That's ocj.com/renew. Time is running out, so subscribe or renew today.
On the calendar, Thursday's midday show, we'll learn more about the soybean crush expansion in Ohio and what that means for biofuels opportunity. Late in the week, on Friday, we'll be at Mercer Landmark. They'll be hosting the 3rd annual Agro Expo at the Laddie Agronomy Facility in Paulding. To learn more or attend, visit agroexpo.com. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Remember, the markets are closed today. These are Friday's closing figures. September corn, $3.78, up 6 1/4. December new crop corn, $4.01, up 5. September soybeans, $9.82, up 8 1/4. November new crop beans, $10 even, up 7 1/2. Hold that crop till next March, and you're $10.31 3/4, up 8 3/4. The September wheat, $5.32 3/4, up 7 3/4. July 25 new crop wheat up 4 cents at $5.89 3/4. The August cattle closed 185.85, up 97 cents. October cattle 178.60, up 70 cents. October lean hogs 82.22, up a nickel. December 72.77, up 22. And October feeder cattle $237.75, up $1.07. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.